Cheers! Welcome to Movie Bitches! Episode 195. We're so close to 200. Tonight we're reviewing Incredibles 2.
There wasn't a, colon, the
no.
secret of Bear Mountain or anything.
No.
Sometimes that's fun.
No, it's just The Incredibles 2. Fresh off the heels of the original.
Yeah, we literally just watched it.
Oh, well, I was joking because it's 14 years later.
Oh, I meant for us.
Yes, for us, we just retro-reviewed.
Fresh off the heels of the release of the original.
Mm-hmm.
It started weird.
So it starts and it's just like Sam Jackson's like, hello, I'm Sam Jackson. And you're like, what's this? And then it's like, and I'm Holly Hunter. And
it seems like one of those and I'm Maria Menounos. Thanks for joining us for the trivia before the movie. And you're like,
what? But it's also like one
what?
of those stupid it takes a lot of people to make a movie, so don't pirate it. Thanks for coming to the theater and seeing movies where they're meant to be seen. You're like, what is this? Why? But then they're just it takes a long time to storyboard.
Well, there was a lot of we're so sorry.
Yeah.
We know it's been 14 years.
Yeah.
Movies take a long time. We're back. And we know you've been clamoring. And I was like, have we? Don't get me wrong. I love The Incredibles.
Yep.
I had no expectations that they would make a sequel.
Not since they said that they were going to. I'm personally of the ilk that is you know what? I liked the thing. Let it be.
Yeah, it's cool.
Unless there's an obvious, and actually this is one of the better ones for sequels.
Yeah,
which is kind of confusing. It's they had Toy Story 1 through 3 already, and yet they never did Incredibles at all in that time period, but they did Cars 12. So you would think that they would have done another Incredibles sooner than 14 years later.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about it.
Yeah, and then they're just thanks for waiting. I don't know, I found it to be an odd way to start.
I did too.
And then it got weirder.
Oh boy, did it. So then there's the Pixar short.
Well, we gotta talk about this.
Yeah. Bow.
I had thoughts and feelings about this. Yeah. Like I usually do. I know I have problems with inanimate objects being sentient, but sometimes it's okay.
Right.
Brave little toaster, here for it. I love it.
Yes. Little dumpling son that she eats.
Not here for it. So it starts, and they're making delicious looking dumplings. And I'm like, fuck yes, these dumplings look delicious. Yeah. And I'm like, yes. Oh, it's reminding me of Ratatouille. I want to eat that dumpling. Yeah. What I thought was a teenage boy sits down across from what I assumed was his father.
Or grandfather.
Serves the dumplings. The dad is like,
I'm not gonna go to work.
And leaves. The teenage son, in my mind, takes the dumpling and starts to eat it. And it starts to cry like a baby. And I was like, I'm sorry, what just happened? What's going on? I was like, oh! And then I slowly realized that, no, wait, this is supposed to be his wife.
Yeah. I also had the same reaction, and their ages were so different.
Yeah. It was I genuinely had the thought, I was like, oh, how cool. This teenage son is cooking, homemade dumplings. This seems kind of rad. What's this gonna be?
Yeah.
I'm interested in what, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
Now there's a crying dumpling baby in her mouth that then is birthed and spouts legs, and it's terrifying.
Terrifying.
She's literally I'm gonna eat you now.
In my mouth, biting. Mouth spouts, and you're just what?
And I was like, what?
This is traumatic for young children.
Right? So then, she's like, oh my god, I shouldn't eat you. I mean, there's no words in it.
No.
It's all, Lego grunts and things.
Sure.
Remember those Lego games? They don't talk. They're just like, So then she starts treating it like her baby.
Yes.
And rocking it.
Yep, and feeding
taking it to her Tai Chi class.
Yep.
And grocery shopping.
Yep.
And to this and to that.
Eating
and
little buns.
Time seems to pass. I was confused why the dumpling was then eating a bread.
Food, right.
And she ate it in front of him.
It was all very confusing.
And why it didn't then become a baby that she was going to eat? Traumatic. Well, so then it seems like years are passing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, did the husband just walk out on her? Was that what the beginning of this was? Because he is gone.
Yeah, not to be seen.
The kid gets glasses. The kid gets a goatee. I mean, it progresses, and we still have not seen the husband again. And I was like, oh my God, is this some sort of like fever dream where her husband has left her and she's barren, and so she's like fantasizing about a baby that's her dumpling? And it kind of
I don't think that's that far off.
The dumpling gets a goatee.
Yep.
Becomes a teenager.
Yep.
She cooks him food.
Oh, that food looked so good.
It looked so good and was the best part.
But
then again, I was like, but it's just gonna eat itself. It's cannibalistic. You've opened a door.
Yeah.
And I can't go with you anymore. You crossed it. I can't follow. You hear a knock on the door, and this tiny dumpling brings home a blonde, white,
buxom woman.
Buxom fiance. She's like, or whatever. And I'm like, so now the dumpling has like a sexual appetite and is dating a human? It just seems weird to me.
Well, it is. I think
until the end, and then
exactly.
You're like,
but it's
okay, but it's not set up. Anyway, so basically, she is like, no, you can't. He's gonna leave and move out with his fiance.
Yeah.
No, she's dragging him, pulling him. Don't leave.
And then
she
just
fucking eats it. And I was like, oh, so is she pregnant now? Like, I was like, oh, so she ate the fictional, baby in her mind, and she's been trying to get pregnant, but she has like old husband. She's got old husband sperm problem.
Oh, God.
This is where I went, because I was like, what the fuck is this? She's like, and eats the baby, and I was like, so she's got a bun in her oven now?
Oh my God.
What?
But no, the son.
The dad shows up again. I was like, oh, the dad is still here. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And he is like, shoves, it's the son and it's a person.
A person who has like a head that looks like a bow.
Right, he's shaped like a little dumpling. They bond.
He brings her more
together,
buns.
and so was it a dream?
I think it was a nightmarish fever dream in response to her bow son.
Her empty nest fear.
Right. Well, and that he was dating this white woman, I think.
Right. That was sort of
the undercurrent. But then turns out that she makes dumplings better than he does, and so then everything's great. It was the intent and the point of view and the clarity of concept, not very strong.
No. I liked the look of it.
Yep.
The food looked amazing.
Amazing.
I was excited to see like Asian representation in a Pixar movie. I was like, great.
Yeah.
It just started wrong. I needed some sort of thought bubble.
Right. Right.
Something. Because it wasn't like, oh, you really got me there. I didn't think it was going to be the sun. I thought it was a real dumpling that was alive. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, I would be okay with this just being a straightforward allegory. I'm okay with it. So Incredibles 2.
Incredibles 2. Some interesting choices.
I was wary because I love the first one so much.
Love the first one. If you haven't watched our retro review of the first one, go watch it.
I was worried they were going to Despicable Me it, where it was like, hey, you know how you kind of like the Minions in the first one? They're everything now. They're going to be the whole fucking movie. And then they're going to get their whole own fucking movie by themselves.
Right.
No. And so I was like, oh, they're going to, Edna Mode is going to be the whole movie.
They didn't do that.
There was a lot of restraint.
Yes.
And I do think there was a lot of good things about this movie.
I agree.
The plot could have
What
been...
plot?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the problem. It could have been...
A plot.
Faster.
It could have existed. There was no plot. That was my biggest problem.
Not really.
This movie was fun because the characters are fun. Yeah. So it's like, well, I'm always going to have fun, like, seeing Elastigirl fight crime, yeah. Which is why I think it's, like, such a perfect property for them to make multiple of. It's like the James Bond of Pixar movies, where it's just like, cool, and then they did this other superhero thing, and now they have to fight this evil villain? Great. Down for it.
Yeah.
There was no villain in this movie.
I mean, there is, but not an interesting one.
No.
There's a villain.
I guess, but like, what's her...
Who cared?
Well, spoiler alert.
So it starts...
Yeah.
Right where the first one left off, which I was surprised by.
I was too.
I really thought, oh, cool, we're gonna check back in with them. Kids are gonna be a little older.
Right, Jack
Jack can talk now.
Yep.
Oh, this will be cool. You know, a little check back in. No.
Right
where the other one leaves off.
I mean, I guess that's fair. Like, if you really went 15 years into the future from where we last left them, like, Mr. Incredible and Elastigirl are gonna be a little aged. For superhero, you know, it's like no one wants to see like a 55, 60-year-old superhero.
I'm here for it.
I guess that's a different movie.
I just think it would have been interesting. Like
Sure.
I was like, oh, cool, this will be fun. No, it didn't happen. Even a 5-year.
Even
jump,
a few, yeah, exactly.
You know, it didn't have to be literally.
Yeah, Jack's like, you know, in kindergarten. She's graduating high school.
Love
or
it.
whatever.
Whatever.
A freshman in college. That would be cute.
Oh, she's going away, leaving the nest.
That'd be fun.
She turns into a sentient dumpling, and then
no,
it didn't. Well, the problem is that the superheroes are still outlawed. You know, they fight the Underminer and cause a bunch of property damage in trying to stop him. He still gets away, and so superheroes are even more fucked than they were at the end of the last movie.
Right.
And the villain's plan is to fuck over superheroes.
Yes.
And it's like, so if you just didn't do anything, it would be the same. I guess you could argue that like her brother
it was a fight between her and her brother. I guess
he was gonna go forward with trying to promote them anyway, so she had to find a way to sabotage it.
Okay, well, spoiler alert. We're kind of assuming that you've seen most of it
but also it doesn't matter.
It doesn't really matter. You could go see it. I would say, I mean, it's fun.
Yeah, it's a fun
movie. If you like The Incredibles, definitely see it.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of problems, and we're going to talk about them. So, this was confusing for me because I was waiting for the brother and sister to be in cahoots together and be part of, like, some larger, more malicious plan of, like, being able to control the superheroes to, like, enact their evil plan. Everything was, like, put out there for her. It's like, let's just control this so that she can shut it down real quick, and then, oh my god, she saved the day and beat the screenslaver.
Oh, that did make me laugh.
Yeah. But I wasn't expecting the screenslaver to be the actual villain.
I mean, maybe it should have been like that the brother knew about Screenslaver, but they were doing it just for like good publicity. Like, oh, we'll cause a conflict on purpose so then you can save, you know, like the end of the last one. With Jason Lee, like, oh, we'll solve the end of the last one.
Right.
But he doesn't know that the sister actually wants to do actual bad things.
Sure.
Right. He just thinks, oh, and Elastigirl finds out that, you know, it was all a hoax the whole time.
Exactly. They don't let her know that they can control people, but they're doing it in order to get the splash, but then the sister really has a nefarious plan, and she's been trying the whole time.
Still a little convoluted.
Oh, it's convoluted.
Yeah. Well, we forgot. It actually starts with government agent Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh my god.
Still erasing people's memories.
Yeah, he's gonna flashy thingy them.
And in this one, it was like looked like a big old-timey projector that had a red light.
Okay, can we talk about this?
Yeah.
Because this is another issue that I have that got more confusing for me with this second movie. Where is it and when is it taking place? Because the technology is confusing.
I don't think it's they know, you know what I mean? It's like retrofuturism.
It's retrofuturism, but
it's like 60s, you know, cool. Everyone's house looks like it's, you know,
the Jetsons.
And yet the technology is like super crazy advanced.
Except for like televisions and radios and phones.
You know,
but then some of it, like video is not very good.
I don't think you're going to get an answer.
No, but it was frustrating for me in this one because the gender politics was really dated. And it made it uncomfortable for me.
It's weird because it, like, in trying to be really hip and, like, yeah, women.
Was it?
Yeah, that was its angle.
Was it?
Yes, like, Elastigirl, she'll be the one that goes out and does it, and he'll be the stay-at-home mom. Like, but it was like, from the perspective of, like, the 1980s. You know what I mean? It's like, he's Mr. Mom now, and she's getting the money. You know what I mean? So it was, like, trying to do that.
I mean, this movie was just Mr. Mom for...
superheroes.
A while.
for a long time. Was it bad at it?
Not really.
Kind of liked it.
Kind of did.
Num num cookie. Okay. Wow. Okay. Okay. So he can still hear you
from the other dimension. Yeah.
Well, and then so the whole thing is they're battling like superheroes is still illegal and this whole thing, and I was like, can we
Thank you.
I'm good.
I'm
That's
good.
why I was excited for it to be like 5 years later.
Right.
And they're a crime-fighting family.
Exactly.
Yeah, rad, but she has to go to college and she's like, Mom, Dad, or whatever.
They took so much time and exposition at the beginning of trying, like, for as great as the exposition is in the original Incredibles, it's the opposite for me for this. The exposition was painful to watch. I was just like, what is this dialogue?
There
What
was
is
some
this, like...
scenes. There were some scenes that I was like, I can't even track what's going on.
No.
The scene between sister, drunk, sexy sister, and you tell me. And Elastigirl, where they're like, well, you could be an optimist or a skeptic. Well, what would the optimist say in you? Well, the skeptic in me would say this. Well, we could do this, and we could team up to do the... Like, they had a whole conversation that was like, I'm what?
Yep.
Oh, God, I've
Yep.
lost something. Oh, no. And then, wait, do you have this kind of thing? Well, we have a signal, and we can do this. And I was like, I don't even know what just happened.
It was tough. It was really rough. The dialogue, it was often really bad. Particularly with the sister. I felt like the animation and her talking didn't really mesh.
Oh, I don't know.
I felt like disconnected from her, and maybe they were
Right.
doing that on purpose because she was the villain. But like, it
Oh, that sister.
Yeah, sorry.
I thought
Not
you meant
Violet.
Vi, and I was
No.
like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
No.
Oh, no. I mean, she was in, like, a Despicable Me movie, and everyone else was in, like, an Incredibles movie. It was very bizarre. Because, you know who voiced her?
No.
Catherine Keener.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Hello there, superheroes. I'm so sorry I'm late.
She comes in, she's got all these bags, a hat, all this stuff, and she's like, oh, I'm a mess, and I'm
Yeah.
late. Blah.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay.
And then they have this weird interaction between her and her brother where she's like, I'm already beating myself up, so you don't have to do it. And I was like, what is this? You know what it reminded me of? That really weird scene in Downsizing
Oh, Jesus.
with Neil Patrick Harris.
Honey.
How many diamonds did you
How
buy?
much, honey?
It was like that, where it was like, what is this? These are not human beings.
Well, what is this dynamic? I couldn't figure out what, like, I was like,
But
so
he was really weird.
are they, like, incestuous?
Is he gay?
Is he gay, question mark, possibly?
It was weird.
He's voiced by Bob Odenkirk,
Mm.
but I could not, they feel like they introduced them horribly. They needed to have them be, like, famous Steve Jobs-esque
Yes.
CEOs and, like, a newsreel as part of the opening or whatever, like, Decacon, what was their company called?
Deccom?
Decom, something like that.
Devcom.
Oh, the new technology company Devcom has opened and blah blah. Like with the founder of and
You know what would've been nice?
They needed to have the focus of the exposition at the beginning.
They should have had it be more, because they have a lot of stuff where there's like television's being turned on a lot, right?
Uh-huh.
Like they have dinner and then Dash is like, okay, can I finish things? I want to watch TV now.
Yeah.
But there should be a commercial for Devcom.
Absolutely.
And it's like, there's always a commercial in the background
Because there
for
was-
Devcom.
yeah,
the new
yeah.
Devcom,
Communications device. Oh,
Exactly.
it's everyone. They know where you are. It's like whatever. Like
Yeah.
it's some weird.
everyone has a screen in their pocket. Oh my god, the
Something.
future is here, right?
Because they were like, here's this clip of Johnny Quest. Here's this clip of The Outer Limits. And it was like, okay.
Sure. What does that have to do with this movie? Nothing.
Apparently, this house from the 1960s also only shows TV shows from the 1960s. I was like, what?
Really weird.
Oh, we only have an analog TV, so I was like, what?
What? That's what I'm saying. It's confusing.
Yeah.
It became more problematic as the story.
Developed.
Well, and the story in this movie related so much to the environment around them. In the first one, they're on the island half the movie.
Right.
So you're like, well, this doesn't matter because it's its own fantasy, high-tech, whatever
Right.
world that he's created.
Yeah.
But now they're in a world that's like revolving and related with everyone around them. There's like a fucking hover monorail
Right.
bullet train
That
in
everyone's
this
like,
town that we
cool.
don't even know anything about. And like, so it's confusing to me. But I really...
You're right. They definitely should have had little nuggets.
And then...
Because there was that awkward line when they first meet with them in their big penthouse or whatever. They're like, oh, Decacorp, whatever the fuck it's called. DevCon.
Yeah.
DevCon. oh yes, our company, we started it, blah, 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 blah. And there was like an awkward line of, we're a telecommunications company. Like they had to, because I was about to be like, what is this company?
And Frozone's like, and now they're the best telecommunications company in the country. You're like, what is this?
Okay.
It really needed to be tightened a lot for me. That was my biggest issue. And the plot, and like I think the brother and sister to both be villains.
I would have liked maybe if we find out, like, oh, the brother and sister have tapped the superheroes to save the day and whatever, and they've also tapped the supervillains and said, oh, you want to get back in the game? We'll show you. And then they're, creating a fantasy of, like, you're fighting you, and it's,
but really
they don't care about collateral damage. They just care about the bottom line and the money that they're going to make off of all of this.
That is more interesting.
There would just be, like, kind of forced, like, political statements.
Yes.
That were just sort of... There.
It was like the script was written 10 years ago, but then they were like, let's punch it up with some modern stuff.
Definitely. Because when they go like, we'll put the little cameras on all of your suits. And, this was basically like the whole like police, we'll put cameras on their suits to keep them accountable for whatever they're doing, that kind of thing or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay.
I didn't really
But then
think
it
of that
doesn't really come up again?
No. Well, except for that police brutality.
Oh, right. That was...
Oh, sure, buddy. Blame it on the system.
It's like, okay. There were, like, lines like that, we were like, what? You know, and then, spoiler alert, at the end, the sister gets arrested, and she's like, well, sorry, but she's got to go to prison. And then, like, out of nowhere, Violet's just like, well, but sorry that she's rich. She'll probably just get a slap on the wrist.
And
stares down the barrel of the camera.
I'm like, yeah, but also this is a weird...
Yes, but why?
Right?
This doesn't seem like something Violet would say. I didn't love how they handled Mr. Incredible at first. It eased into it.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, okay. But basically, Elastigirl is a more responsible person. So they're like, you should be our figurehead, and you should be the poster girl for this, and you go out there and you fight crime, and don't hurt anybody, and don't like damage any city property, and it'll be great. And Mr. Incredible is all like,
it should be me.
It should be me. And he does that whole thing of like, but she's a, woman, basically. Like, it's just like, she's a girl. She can't. And it was like, why are you undermining your wife? This is weird. Like,
thank you.
Gross.
Yeah.
Hard pass on this situation.
Thank you.
Unnecessary. It could just be like, oh, my ego.
Exactly.
And it's cool. It has nothing to do with her gender.
It was weird. And that was partly because then it comes up later where he's like, well, she goes, well, one of us needs to get a job. And he goes, one of us? I have to do this. And that's where I'm like, why are we still with these like 1960s, like I have to provide for my family.
Right.
My wife can't do anything good. She can only take care of the children. I was like, what is happening?
And then he got on board with it. And I was like, okay, I'm more into this.
Yes. And it could have just been him struggling to deal with the kids without being a whiny bitch about it.
Exactly. Just like, oh my God, I'm so tired.
Exactly.
But, like,
how does she even do this?
I don't know how she does it. I didn't understand why it was so necessary that like Elastigirl had to go out of town to fight crime and they had to be separated the whole movie.
Yeah.
I think it would have been more fun and playful if she comes home every night and is like, oh, I'm exhausted. I saved the train from whatever derailing. And he's like, yeah, tell me about it. I'm exhausted too. I got the kids, and they can be a family. I didn't understand that. And like because they were separate the whole time, it was like, oh no, but that's what's fun.
Oh, this is now two different movies. We have Mr. Mom and we
Elastigirl.
have Elastigirl Saves the Day. And it's like, why are we doing that for half of this movie?
Yeah. And then they basically move into Iron Man's house.
Right.
Which was all, retro 60s,
and
water
was
features.
This just so that they could have the house as a scene, as a set? Because, it didn't ever... I was waiting for that to pay off, where it's like, it's
smart
his house.
And it's his house,
right?
So he's going to lock him down.
Exactly, or the screens, they can control it, they know, and they're like, oh no, now they can... Nothing.
But no, they thought it was a better idea to steal the plot from Speed 2 Cruise Control. They were like, what's a great idea? And everybody loved. Everyone was super on board for that sequel, right? Everyone loved that sequel, right? What?
We will talk about it.
That was bananas.
I just feel like I want to go back. We haven't talked about the motivations behind the brother and sister. And
what were I don't know.
their parents dying.
Oh, this was like a veiled, like Batman.
This was
just like
too
my
much.
parents were killed by robbers.
But you know what was interesting to me? Because we just watched The Incredibles, there's
Yeah.
little things that you pick up on that
Yeah.
they but so
they had both the superheroes that he tried to call that didn't answer.
were both killed by Synchro.
Yeah.
Like
Syndrome.
Syndrome. Oops.
Does Synchro really keep the beat? That's his special power.
Yeah.
Or hers, I don't know.
Good. There was just so much undeveloped that I was just like, well, there's pieces here that seemed like there was stuff that had been thought out.
Yeah.
But I don't see any evidence of it.
A lot of the scenes seemed like vignettes
Yes.
or mini
Yes.
or shorts,
Yes.
like the whole train saving sequence with like the motorcycle and the blah, blah, blah,
Yep.
blah. I was like,
Yep.
so this is its own movie.
Yep.
And the whole like Jack and the raccoon thing, I was like, so this is just a
the
short?
Yep.
Okay.
And it was like, what is this raccoon? Like, what's going on here? This raccoon is
Right?
crazy and very smart, or
Yeah.
like a super raccoon.
It like became Ice Age all of a sudden.
Yes.
It was like, I don't know, I feel like it maybe would have been better if it had been like the mailman. Like, wouldn't it have been a funny running gag if the mailman is the only one that knows Jack has powers for the first half or whatever, because he keeps showing up and Jack's like, ah, or whatever,
That'd
and
be
like,
funny.
and then we get a reaction that's funny,
Yeah.
because that's what was so funny in the first one about him going and turning into all the things, like Jason Lee's
Right.
like being like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I didn't say that, but like, ah! Like that's funny, like holy shit, this baby just became
Turned
this
into
man.
lead and then was on fire and then yeah.
So that having it be a raccoon that's like, "Rrr," it was like, okay.
Yeah.
Remember that creepy scene where so Elastigirl's like, I'm off saving the day, bam, bam, and everyone's like, yeah, we love you. And there's like all those crowds of people, and then she
there's
pulls
this
up,
little
there's
girl.
this little girl who's just like, and she goes, oh, what
What's
does
your
your
sign
sign say, little girl? And she just, and it's like, screensaver's still out there. And it was just
I
like,
was like, oh god.
it was good.
I
'Cause
mean,
it was weird.
It was so weird. Why would that be a sign that this kid would have?
Because she was under the influence of the screensaver. That's why she was like. But see, that would have been cool if throughout it had been more Invasion of the Body Snatcher-y, like.
Plus, we never
Wait.
saw her eyes. Like, what
Yeah, it
screen
would've
was she
been-
looking at, though?
I don't know. But it really seemed like she was like, ah. Or
Yeah.
that little girl's really fucked up. Maybe it's a really fucked up little girl. I think making it that they had to be looking at a screen with really obvious
Goggles.
like, oh, you're being hypnotized currently, goggles, was problematic because you could have had a cool couple of scenes where like she's just talking to someone and then she slowly starts to be like, wait a minute, you're not really acting like yourself.
Right.
Oh no, that could have
Yes.
been a fun mystery.
If they were like contact lenses, like smart contact lenses that had.
I
like,
thought
a-
the exact same thing.
Yeah. Oh, you know what could have been cool is if it was like, if that was part of the tech that they had, right? Where it's like, oh, we have these smart contact lenses
They
where
film
you can.
everything that you see. You don't have to wear some stupid fucking thing on your shirt.
Right. It's like, here, you put in these contact lenses and it gives you a readout of whatever, and then it's
Great.
like, yeah.
Love it.
But then it's like, oh, but she took it over.
She hacked it. That would have been so much better because then it would have been like, what do you mean I'm not hypnotized? I have these giant glasses on that are like glowing, clearly hypnotizing me. I was like, I know it's a kid's movie, but like,
But then that makes
dumb.
then
So the sister and the brother show up, they're acting like Richard E. Grant and Sandra Bernhardt from Hudson Hawk once again, but they don't know what movie they're in.
We've got the real deal. Money will always be paper, but gold will always be gold.
And I couldn't get a grasp on her because I was like, well, clearly she's the villain.
yeah.
She doesn't brush her hair. She's wearing weird outfits.
Yep.
It's like villainess
Yeah.
outfits.
Yep.
And she always seems drunk.
Yeah.
Constantly wasted.
Yep.
You ready for a drink? I'm talking about technology. And you're like, what's going on? Maybe she was hypnotizing herself. I don't know. I couldn't figure it out.
Me
I was just
either.
like, what?
And then, but then her monologue when like Elastigirl was all frozen
yeah.
was really bad. Because again, it was just like, oh, my mom and dad were,
Oh, well, this nonsense was like, my mom begged him to take them to the panic room, but he insisted on calling the superheroes. It's like, why wouldn't the superhero phones be in the panic room, first of all? But also, you can do both. Like, why introduce the idea of a panic room? Who the fuck cares? You've undermined everything.
And then
Behold the Underminer!
I was just like, this entire plausibility is so stupid.
Yeah.
And like the fact that this is the motivation for our villainess is ridiculous. It took me out so much that I was just like, well, this is just dumb. So her plan is to ruin superheroes forever, make it illegal forever, because 2 superheroes that turns out were dead weren't there for her parents when they could have gone to the safe room. What? How did this get through several levels of script? Like, I don't understand.
You're right, it really felt like they wrote it
Like
years ago, and then, like, just punch it up. Just insert some, like, modern shit. People will love it. Insert some woke lines. You gotta make this movie woke. I feel like that happened in the writer's room. They introduced Elastigirl to all these other superheroes. And Void.
Katy Perry.
The Void?
Void.
It was Sophia Bush.
Oh, weird.
I felt like an outcast before, but now with you being you, I feel like getting me.
Since you came out and started really being somebody, like, I feel like I can come out and be myself and blah, blah, blah. And I was just like this weird, like, coming out of the closet, like,
it was
bizarro,
really weird.
Like, instead of, like, a veiled, like, message that's just sort of there, like, be yourself and don't worry about being an outsider. It was just like, I'm telling you, you helped me come out of the closet. It's, like, aggressive.
It was aggressive, and it was just poorly written and poorly acted.
But then, like, I did really like a lot about this movie. Then it actually cut back to, like, the Mr. Mom plotline, and I was like, oh, I'm here for this.
Lucius comes over, and he's like, oh, you gotta get your shit together, G.
Yeah, he's
so
like,
he
all
takes
like,
him to Edna.
He's like, I can't sleep. No, but this was when I actually laughed the hardest. They have to keep appeasing the baby and appeasing the baby. The baby goes into a different dimension. He's like, cookie num nums, cookie num nums,
come on, cookie num nums,
or whatever. And then,
when was the last time you sleep? Who keeps track of that?
What? and then the baby's like eating something, and you're like, what is that? What is he eating? And then he finishes it, and the baby's like, wah, whatever. And Lucian's like, okay, and he like gives him a new ice globe to be like, or whatever. Like that cracked me up.
Me too. This was actually my favorite scene.
Yeah.
Like Craig T. Nelson was like perfect.
Yeah.
This was all cookie num num.
Yeah, it's just like delirious.
The delirious.
Yeah.
It was great. And then we get Edna.
Yes. Fabulous.
Fabulous
amazing,
as ever.
All of it.
Oh my god. I love this. Was so silly where she's like, you want me to babysit? And then Jack apparently can just grow hair and take on other people's appearance?
It seemed willy-nilly what he could do.
I guess that was the point.
I guess.
Parenting, when done right, is a heroic act. I've luckily never been afflicted with it.
So Elastigirl like tracks down Screenslaver, so
Yes.
she thinks, and she's going into his room, and he has this like hypno room, or whatever, and I thought that looked really cool.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it made me kind of want to vomit, but
well, that's actually this is the scene.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like this needed an epilepsy warning.
They
the
have them.
movie in front of the movie.
Not in front of the movie, but they had to put them up. In like when we bought the tickets and everything, they have signs everywhere that they have an epilepsy warning because people first saw it and they were like, "What the fuck? This needs an epilepsy warning."
I was shocked that they didn't
have it
that.
in front of the screen, and
because it wasn't just this scene. This was the most intense of like
or
whatever. But like there was numerous scenes where it was just like
flashing
we're being
black and white,
blah, 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 and I was like, oh, this would definitely set people off. I feel like this is not good. Like for a movie that's gonna be seen by everybody. Like, yikes.
Yeah. I don't know how that got through.
I thought about it.
Yeah.
So.
And
I don't have epilepsy.
Right.
So.
It seems crazy to me that no one throughout this entire process was like, well, this seems problematic because, you know, it could create seizures in our audience members, and that's pretty bad.
Well, so then when he goes to pick up the baby again, and she's created
my
his
goodness.
whole suit and everything. Oh yes, the flame retardant. It's blackberry lavender. It's edible, delicious.
I love it.
Well, and then this whole thing about the Incredibile.
Oh, yeah.
Incredibile. Incredibile? Mobile?
Incredimobile. Incredimobile.
Incredimobile?
Yeah, I think so. Whatever, who cares? His
I feel
car.
like the name could have been better.
Sure.
Is like awesome, but also was like a whole fucking plot of like,
whole
oh,
plot.
what is this?
Yep.
Oh, I thought they said it was destroyed, and now this rich guy bought it. And I was waiting to be like, so is this going to tie in
Nope.
with the rich?
Just that they had to get
You
his
know,
car
like,
to him
it
somehow.
would have made sense had brother, sister, Odenkirk and Keener watch that show. Watch the shit out of that show. Odenkirk and Keener. If they had bought it, because he's like a big nerdy fan of superheroes. Oh, I bought the Incredibile or whatever, and then it's on the ship at the end,
Sure.
and that's some sort
Sure.
of thing. Where,
Yeah.
oh, we hit the button, and it just seemed odd. I was thinking about it during the movie. Maybe not mad at like a Frozone solo movie,
I'd like to know their backstory.
right? I want a prequel
Yep.
where he meets Honey.
Yes.
And he's and learning how to skate stuff. Maybe he grew up in Wisconsin. Like, I want to know.
Sure. I bet he makes a mean martini.
Yeah. I want to get into what's going on with Frozone.
Yeah, sure.
He's rad, and
Yeah.
I love his powers.
Yeah.
He's always, like, fucking on it, and he's
Yeah.
like, oh, do you need my help? Blam, 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 blam. I fixed everything.
Oh, look, I turned this tidal wave into snow.
You know, the ambassador, that whole thing.
Yeah.
That didn't go anywhere.
Anywhere.
Because it wasn't actually a character.
No.
It was just like, and she's
Well, then,
here to sign.
and then that line was so weird.
Which one?
Oh, Mrs. Incredible, or Elastigirl.
Oh, right.
You are here, and that's why I am talking to you.
Well, you know who voiced that? Isabella Rossellini.
Oh my god, I love it.
Well, and then she goes, go out and save the world. Well, I can only do it because you're protecting it. Or we had like
I'll do it once you destroy evil. And I was like, is this something from like the old days of Elastigirl? Like, I didn't know.
I think it was like, go girl, we're women, get it. Saving the world, girl power. I think that was the core of it.
Sure. I was confused how an ambassador
Yeah.
to what?
They were like, oh, we got Isabella Rossellini. She has an accent. Ambassador?
But like, why couldn't she just be like, yeah, I mean, I guess, like, she couldn't be the president then if she had an accent.
Senator?
But like, how is that senator making the law for a country, for the world?
For the
That was
world.
confusing.
She was making for the world.
They had 100 countries on board, but only 8 of them signed. I was very confused.
I did like the sort of UN of superheroes that was completely underutilized.
Underutilized.
Okay, superheroes, protect your ambassadors. I was like, is this a thing? What's this ambassador superhero program? I would like to know more.
Thank you.
And then, like I said, it turns into Speed 2 cruise control.
Oh my God.
Out of control yacht, careening towards the city at a low speed.
I mean, I just was confused as to what the plan here was.
Well, the sister was clearly okay with just murdering all these people, and
Was that the plan?
yeah.
And what was
and
that
she'll
gonna do?
frame the superheroes because they were like, we will kill you or whatever. We're clearly not hypnotized. It's not gonna be an investigation about this. And then I'll ram this yacht into the city and it will enrage the world. There should have been some sort of like Geneva Convention happening or something.
That's what it
so it could
literally
be like forever, the whole world will know.
It should have
But it
been
seemed to just be
like
like
a UN council
city.
where they were going to pass a resolution worldwide
Yeah,
allowing, and
yeah.
she was the UN, like the US UN ambassador.
or something.
That would have made more sense. They're in like a big UN building
yeah.
on the water.
The
and
superheroes
then
are like, we're here, we're in soup, but clearly not hypnotized.
Clearly not. Oh no, we took you all under our control.
Yeah.
Like, you know, what's happening? Oh my god, there's chaos at the UN while they were during this time. Like, that would be more logical.
It'd be better than the plot to Speed 2 Cruise Control? Couldn't get past it. We complained a lot about this movie. I do think it was really fun at times.
Yes.
And it's not terrible, but
No.
it's frustrating because the first one's so good.
Yep.
So it's like worth watching
Yes.
and not bad, and yes,
No.
you can pick it apart and whatever, but like, and it did have some weirdnesses.
A lot of weirdnesses.
But on a whole, it was
It's still
good.
a
It's
fun
still
movie
fun
to
and cute.
watch.
Yeah.
But it's not as good as the first one.
No.
Although it looks great.
Oh yeah, it does look good. Well, and then there was a fun Easter egg at the very end. They're going to the movies. Violet finally gets to go on her date with Tony. It's been 14 years, but she finally gets to go on a date with Tony.
No, it's been like a week.
I know. My mind.
Sure.
They pull up to the marquee, and it says Dementia 113.
Mm-hmm.
Which is A113 is like an Easter egg that's in all of their movies.
Because that's the room
at CalArts.
Yes.
There's like a animation room at CalArts, which is like a Disney
feeding ground.
But what was interesting is Dementia 13 is like an old Coppola horror movie that's like pretty fucked up about an axe murderer.
Oh my
and I was like, questions, thoughts. What are they going to see? This Dementia 113, what's going on? Tony's got sick taste. So I would say go see it if you like the first one.
Yeah. It's perfectly
I had
fun.
problems, but it was fun.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.